I'm sorry, mate. How much? What? Hi guys, Tab here. Hope you're all keeping well. Yes, another video where I sit and talk. No live action footage tonight, not out and about in the car. Yeah, the weather isn't great and it does get dark at about 1 p.m. in the UK. So this video, we're going to be in the studio, but stay tuned because if you like McLaren, if you know McLaren, you're going to want to watch this one. There's a lot to talk about. We're going to take a good long look at the current state of McLaren. Just what I think is going on based on the people I've spoken to and all the rumour mill that's happening right now with the brand. Let's take a look. And just to add, this is McLaren Automotive, not the McLaren F1 side of things. Just wanted to clear that little bit up. So those of you that do watch my videos and have subscribed, thank you very much. You'll know I've spoken about the Artura before, okay? It is a car I'm very, very excited about indeed. I love the tech that's gone into it. And I've now seen it in person and sat in it. And yes, it is a wonderful bit of kit. I have to say the build quality of the Artura, just from having sat in it, really does seem like a step up from the 570. It just feels that little bit more refined, kind of a bit more Rolls-Royce-esque, just really well put together and a nice place to be. And if you've sat in a 570 or you've owned a 570, the Artura isn't going to feel unfamiliar to you. It is a very similar layout, very similar driving position to the 570, and I think is going to be a lot of fun. Now, one thing I haven't been able to do just yet is get out for a drive in the thing. The demo units still haven't arrived at dealers, so there's lots of people frantically waiting for their test drives. You know, the rich and famous, the F1 drivers who've already had the pleasure of getting out in one. I think Ricardo got out in one. Lucky them. And also all those at McLaren Engineering. But I'm hearing very good things about the car. But we need to talk about McLaren as a whole. Okay, so this is quite important. I think that we discuss the elephant in the room right now. So what is that elephant in the room? Well, there's two elephants in the room, really. We'll have an African elephant and an Asian elephant just for good balance. But the first of those elephants is the fact that we've still not seen the Artura. It's supposed to be out, I think, around about the start of this year. But we've still not seen one. And the rumour mill says that about 300 or so have already been built, but they have not yet been shipped. And it seems to be pointing towards a software glitch with the hybrid system that they can't quite get right at the moment. I am told that the demo units are supposed to be turning up soon, so I'm sure they're making good progress on this and we'll have it sorted soon. At least I hope so. And the other elephant in the room is the fact that Mike Flewitt, the CEO, recently resigned, okay? CEOs don't tend to leave if they're doing a great job on the whole. Well done, old chap. You've done an awesome job. We're going to reward you by saying goodbye. So Mike had been in the role for about 8 years, and some of the cars that had come out under his tenureship were just phenomenal, all right? The P1 just kind of blew things up, right? Hybrid. Have they continued to develop hybrids perhaps as well as they should have done? Perhaps not. But why did Mike leave? The interim CEO role is currently shared by two guys, Michael Mark and Paul Walsh, from the board, and I think an ops guy or something like that. But that role is shared while they search for a new successor. But why did he leave? So if we look at the situation with the Artura, right, they're still not out the door. So effectively, there has been no revenue coming into the company. We know McLaren had a really challenging time through COVID, a lot of layoffs, and were bailed out to the tune of about 150 million GBP from the Bahrain bank recently. So, you know, they were apparently quite close to bankruptcy at one point. But, you know, let's be frank, UK car companies kind of enjoy bankruptcy by the looks of things. TVR, Lotus, Aston, Leyland, Vauxhall one, Rover Group even. No, not Vauxhall, what am I talking about? Rover Group. They really do enjoy bankruptcy. It's a bit of a, you know, a bit of a game for some of them, it seems like. But if you're a CEO and you're in that position where there's no revenue coming in for a company, it's not good. It is not good. So is that one of the reasons that he perhaps had to say, well, you know what, this isn't for me anymore, or there was an agreement there? Or was it because of a disagreement with the future direction of the company? You know, the lack of electrification. Maybe they are a bit behind some of their competitors in that space. They're only just struggling to get a hybrid out the door now, even though they did a great job with the P1, but that wasn't en masse for sure. So is that one of the reasons as well? Or perhaps disagreement about the fact they don't have an SUV coming out when the rumour mill says they do have an SUV coming out, you know? McLaren having to diversify its portfolio to sell more products. Now, here's the other thing as well that I wanted to talk about in this. I said it was going to be a long video at the start, probably a bit shorter actually, because you know, I'm waffling on here, and probably better to keep it short. But the Artura itself as a car. So, if you've been following McLaren, if you know McLaren well, you'll know they had some awesome offers on the 570 and the 720. 570, you know, 1,200 a month, 15k or so down, which to get in a car like that is just an offer that you cannot pass up. The 720, I think going back to sort of April timeframe, there was an offer bouncing around on that, which was, I think, 17k down and 1,700 a month, there or thereabouts, which to get in a 720 is bonkers. Now, the Artura is a brand new car. I've had my quote through seeing the prices. It is back up to exactly where you'd expect a car of that mark to be. So we're talking significant sums. We've touched upon it on my previous video, so you can go and have a look at those if you want. It is a lot of money, right? The other thing as well is the competition that you'll see in that area. So McLaren playing firmly against the likes of Ferrari, you know, high-end Porsches in that space, but really getting back into that high-end price bracket. But here's the thing. Right, McLaren, it's a mid-engine car, but it's not the only mid-engine car. I love the way a mid-engine car drives. The way it pivots around that center of gravity, which is right in the middle of the car. You've got that nimble front end. It just grips beautifully. It is a go-kart on wheels. Absolutely love it. You'll know from my other videos recently that we had a look at the Lotus Emira. Now, honestly, the way that car looks, mid-engine, the way it's probably going to drive, it's a Lotus, let's be frank, it's going to be a lot of fun, for 75k. For 75k. Now, I know it's not going to be as fast as the Artura. Artura, what, 670 brake, the Emira 400, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And to be honest, a lot of people are going to be potentially questioning spending 200k plus on an Artura when you could get in a car that's probably 80% as good for 75k. Think about that, huh? The other massive threat for McLaren in that space, and a lot of other cars in that space, is the incoming C8 Stingray, the Corvette, which is going to be made in right-hand drive. It's going to be coming to the UK for what I hear, a list price of about 87k-ish. Don't quote me on that, but around about that for the entry level, mid-engine, and the car looks bonkers. It's had rave write-ups, and in America they were selling for above list, huge wait list, and I think the wait list in the UK on that is going to blow up. Only one authorised dealer for that car at the moment out of Virginia Waters in the UK, so just up the road from me. I'm going to go and take a look at that when I can. Now that's just the entry level. The Z08 version, which is going to be coming along soon in America in 2023 and in the UK hopefully not too long after, is on par, neck and neck with the McLaren Artura in terms of performance. It's a flat plane V8. I think it's 670 brake as well, naturally aspirated, 6.2 V8. It's going to be insane. And honestly, I think probably a good 60 to 80k cheaper than the Artura. And I think is going to drive just as well. So I've got to be frank, the Artura is going to have to be a darn good car. Now, the other thing as well is I think the McLaren addressable market, people who want to get in a McLaren, it's just a smaller pool of people than people that want to get into a Porsche or a Ferrari, right? So I think that the summary here, the summary for this video is McLaren really do have their work cut out right now, right? To compete with the likes of Ferrari, to compete with the likes of Lamborghini, and to compete with the likes of Porsche, right? They're going to have to offer a very good product. I'm confident the Artura is going to be absolutely immense. When the press cars are released and the press get their drives, I hope it's going to be phenomenal. The figures look great. It's going to drive like a McLaren, right? It's going to be awesome, but you're going to have to pay for it. You're going to have to save up those pennies. And if I was to get in one, I could be looking at bankruptcy, but bankruptcy that might well be worth it. Now, here's the other thing to talk about as well, electrification. A lot of other marques, Porsche in particular, are really pummeling down the road of can't get that word out. We're going to try again. Electrification. Porsche are really marching down that road. They've got their charger network. The Cayman's coming out, fully EV version of that. The Cayenne, the Macan, all going to be electrified. And the Taycan, the massively successful Taycan, which I've been out in, and I actually can say that I've booked a slot. I've booked a manufacturing slot, a build slot for that car because I was that impressed with it. So why not? But that's not to say I have to go down the road of EV, but it's definitely an option. Now, that for me is something that we have to really consider. Have McLaren done enough quickly? So they did the P1 hybrid car there, right? Mind-blowing. I don't know why they didn't continue with that theme for their 570s, 720s, because they'd already be ahead of the game. Instead, they put it by the wayside for a while to focus firmly on the 570, 720s, 765, all the 600 LTs, all those variants of the petrol engine, the M838, the M840, I think, yeah. Engine, that Nissan race engine, right? They put a lot of focus on that and they made some great cars, but potentially allowed their competitors to forge ahead a little bit in terms of electrification. You also may have seen just today only that there was a massive rumour that blew up from Autocar that McLaren were going to be bought out by the VAG group, the VW Audi group, Audi. McLaren press were that dismayed by this, or wanted to quash the rumour mill that quickly. They actually came out with a statement saying it's not true, and they were asking for it to be taken down. But why did this come about? Is it true, perhaps, something that we're seeing? Are McLaren going to get bought out? Now, if it was the VAG group, I'd think to myself, is this the right purchase for the VAG group? The VAG group already have Lamborghini, right? They've got that sports brand. Lamborghini's got a huge addressable market. A lot of people lust after them. They command great margin and they can sell for a really high price. McLaren, I think it's a smaller market. There is, quite frankly, a smaller market for McLaren. So is this something that the VAG group would want on their books? Now, it could potentially benefit them from the electrification side of things and the production at scale side of things, right? That could do great things for McLaren as a brand. But is it something they'd want on their books? Or indeed, is it just a meh rumour with no real substance at all? Who knows? Anyway, I wanted to talk to you about that on this video. A lot of thoughts in my head that I wanted to get onto camera. But before we go, I just want to clear one thing up. I do love McLaren. The cars are just bonkers brilliant, and I want them to succeed. So McLaren, if you're listening, pull your finger out, do a good job, get these cars out the door, get the revenue coming in, and continue to exist and produce your cars, because there's a lot of people out there that really, really like them. I hope you enjoyed it. Appreciate you watching. Thanks for now, and see you on the next one. Bye for now.